always an honor, always ready to soak in that information from a 7-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first-team All-Pro, member of the All-Decade team for the 2000s, and just last week, congratulations, Dwight Freeney, a Hall of Fame finalist for the 2nd straight year.
I appreciate you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. New year, new chance to get into the Hall of Fame, 2nd year of eligibility. Is there something that you learned? We've talked about this, of course, but I wanted to say congratulations. Is there anything that you learned from the experience last year that you're taking into what this is going to be like round 2?
Oh my goodness. It's one of those things where, I like to live a life of only worry about things that you can control. But that's hard. That's hard when you're talking about something like, the Hall of Fame. And I almost made it last year, getting through the process of not worrying about things you can control until all the boys, all your family members, all the, NFL guys who are already in the Hall of Fame said, hey, you're a shoo-in. Don't worry about it. You got this. And then you start thinking about it. And then you're like, oh my goodness, maybe I have a chance. Maybe I have a chance. So I think this year is going to be pretty much keep the blinders on as long as I possibly can. Being mentioned in the top 15 finalists is an honor in itself. All right. And you'll see what happens. That's all I can do. I can't control this thing. It is what it is.
Do you talk to Reggie Wayne about it? He's a finalist for the 5th time.
Oof, we try not to have these conversations. It's because he's deserving to be in. He should have been in a long time ago, but a lot of those guys who are on the list all deserve to be in. So, I can only imagine how tough it is for people who have to actually pick who's going to go in, because everybody in this top 15 is deserving, and Reggie's definitely deserving. Yeah.
If you get in before him, I don't know if you're getting a holiday card next year.
Oh my God, I know.
That's awkward.
A bag of coal. That's what
No, you both are so deserving of it. You played 11 seasons with these Colts. These Colts who can clinch a playoff berth with a win over the Texans on Saturday night. They can clinch the division with a win, and if the Jags lose. In week 2, the Colts beat the Texans 31-20. How do you think this defense attacks C.J. Stroud, who passed for nearly 400 yards in that game?
Well, they got to figure something out. Obviously, I think because C.J. Stroud hadn't been there and he's been, on the sideline the last few weeks, I think hopefully rust is there a little bit. I think maybe that Colts defense has to figure out how they're going to pressure him, because you can't just drop, with 7 with a guy like him, because you got to put pressure on him a little bit to kind of get that ball out of his hands. So if it's a 5-man pressure, you may want to think about man pressure, doing some zone pressure, and doing a little praying. That's all you can do. I mean, that kid is really good. Yeah, he's really good.
Those cards will fall how they will in that playoff picture in the AFC. Now, it's going to be tough. It's almost like, everyone's playing these games, trying to get in. Is anyone going to knock off the Ravens? Is there a point in doing any of this? Ronnie Stanley came on our show, and he goes, I don't think, it was a couple of months ago, and he goes, you haven't seen anything. Yeah. We're going to get back. And they're gaining momentum as they go. Yeah. And it's, the best offense that's been a part of that Lamar's had in Baltimore, of course. Is there a weakness in this team, Dwight?
Well, right now, no. But I would say this, the NFL, why it's so special, is that it doesn't matter who's the better team. It's about who's better that day, right? And I think, talking from experience, the Indianapolis Colts, we've had many great teams. I mean, awesome teams, teams that were undefeated for the most part going into week 16, 17. And then we lose the first one. All right. It didn't, it doesn't matter what you did prior to. It matters in the moment and when the playoffs happen. So if the Ravens can continue doing what they're doing now, they're going to be tough to beat. But this is the NFL, and anything can happen. And things and teams change things up in the playoffs, and they may have an off day. And it only takes one game to have an off day in that playoff run, and we're talking about something different.
Who's the Ravens' biggest competition in the AFC?
I would say, believe it or not, I think Cleveland is one.
I agree.
And the reason being is because Cleveland sees them twice a year, and they've seen them multiple times over many years, right? So when you have that type of familiarity with a team that you're, in the same division with, you understand there's no surprises. You understand what's going to happen. Okay. Their defense, Cleveland, is a very, very good defense. They have no holes. They have people to get after the quarterback, cover. I think that is probably the best matchup, I would say, as long as Flacco just keeps on, slinging the ball and just, Mr. Calm and collective back there. Who cares? And as long as he keeps doing that, I think that might be the toughest right now.
You sacked Flacco.
Yeah, I did.
2011, they're telling me in my ear that you took him out. And 2 other times they said, can you believe what he's doing?
It's amazing. But you know what? When you're a veteran and you're a guy who's played as long as he has, I think the biggest, and I think one of the only positions I would say how experience matters is that quarterback position. All right. So when you get out there and you understand coverages and you can see coverages and you know how to attack coverages and that brings confidence. That brings calmness. So when you're out there and you're in, I don't even know what year he's in, year 50 or whatever, Flacco, he's been there forever. But when you're there for so long, all right, you have so much more confidence, and because you've been there, you've seen it, you've won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, Flacco's issue isn't, being calm in the pocket and recognizing coverages. For him, it would probably be more, can I still make that throw that I used to make when I was 25, 26? But I think as long as he plays within himself, within the scheme, I think he's going to be fine.
What you really want to say is, yeah, it must be nice to be a quarterback because you can play so much longer.
Yes, I try not to say those things. Me and quarterbacks don't really get along, so yeah.
Better hope there's not quarterback voters in the old Hall of Fame, because that would not serve you very well.
Maybe.
We saw Niners Baltimore. We saw that was an insane game. It was on Christmas.
Yep.
Let's say there is a rematch. That's what it's looking like. Granted, it never happens like what it's looking like, but let's say it's that. Which defense do you think is better? Which is the Super Bowl defense that you would throw in with?
Man, it is one of those things where you just flip a coin, and whatever that thing lands on is what it's going to be. I think both teams have excellent defenses. I think the Ravens do a little bit more, as far as how they get after quarterbacks and how they like to disguise certain things. Okay. Sometimes you have 6, 7, 8 guys standing up in the line of scrimmage. You don't know who's blitzing. You don't know who's. So I think all those surprises and things that they do, and they've done that traditionally over all the years, I think you would maybe give them the nod. Harbaugh, he's been there in that moment. They won Super Bowls before. So I would say the Ravens, but it's really splitting hairs. It's, 49ers.
No, you said
they're
the Ravens.
Just a great team. Okay, you got it.
You mentioned Harbaugh. So Harbaugh has this dilemma that reminds me of a dilemma you had in your playing days with your coach, Tony Dungy, who perennially had this with the greatness of your team. It's rich people problems, but he's sort of in the situation where he's unsure if Lamar Jackson is going to play on Sunday. Now, this is a thing that Tony always had to deal with. So my question is, with the first round bye for the Ravens, do you think Lamar should sit or play?
I think he should sit. And the reason being is because the style of player Lamar is, he's not going to be able to take it easy, man. Right? He's not one of those guys, I'm going to sit in the pocket and just chill out and go ahead and just throw this little 5-yard out route and just really calm. No, he is a maniac out there. He is trying to, run circles around defensive line, getting the extra 5 or 6 yards. That is who he is.
Yeah.
You put him out there and jeopardize potentially, him being hurt. He is such a big part of that offense. You can't jeopardize that. They have it locked up. Relax, rest him. I'm sure he has some type of nick and bumps or whatever it is that he needs to get rested up and rubbed on or whatever.
Yeah.
Let him hang out. Let him chill out. All right. Get it. Take his mental reps this week. That's what I would say.
We love that. I'm really fascinated with that. You don't get along with quarterbacks thing. Who if you had to pick one, who is your least favorite quarterback of all time?
Oh man, that is not a good question.
One that you enjoyed getting after the most, one you could live without, one you'd like, who you got a little something for?
Let's just put it this way. And I don't want any quarterback to take this the wrong way.
Oh boy.
Okay, let's just put it that way. Quarterbacks, they've always been protected their entire life. Okay, they're these guys who they have 5 guys protecting them. Right. But the guy who talks trash when you have 5 guys in front of you, that bothers me as a defensive line. Just chill out. All right, just throw the ball and then go ahead and high five somebody. But the trash talk.
So who is the most annoying? Who's your least favorite behind that Velveeta cheese block of big guys?
They're all annoying. They're all annoying in their own little way.
Is Peyton Manning
annoying? He is the least but annoying guy I have to do. I have no idea.
What just happened on your screen? Pick an emoji for a quarterback. It's a new game here on the Up and Adam Show.
That is hilarious. I have no idea.
I don't know what that is. Can we try to? Can we X? There we go.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Wait, is Peyton Manning? You say every quarterback is annoying. Every quarterback hides behind a big offensive line. How annoying is Peyton Manning?
Well, look, Peyton Manning is annoying. They all have that little thing of annoyance just because they're QBs.
A little sprinkle.
It's just what it is. Yeah, a little sprinkle of something. He has a little less sprinkles than most, all right? But for me, think about it. You're in practice.
Yeah, I feel
you're going against your offensive tackle. You're beating the offensive tackle. And all of a sudden, you get yelled at or screamed at from getting within 5 yards of the quarterback. Don't touch him. Get away from him. There's all these people yelling. He's getting upset because you just kind of run right by him. You have no intentions of hitting him. It's just in their DNA. It is what it is.
Yeah, let's stop talking about pesky, annoying quarterbacks. I want to talk to you about something that I saw, not between the Lions and the Cowboys and what happened at the end. Whatever. You ended your career with the Lions. I'm not going to focus on the end of the game, though. Instead, everybody saw a little something with Aiden Hutchinson, okay? Aiden Hutchinson's out there. He's paying, just talk me through this.
That is a sweet move. I love seeing that. I love it. Keep spinning. I saw him on the other side. He actually, a couple plays before that, he was on the right side, tried to spin inside, and the guard was sitting there waiting for him. And most guys, they give up. They say, I can't do this move, or, you know what, this is not for me. To see him go on the other side and then spin
Let's see it again.
off of that offensive tackle, that's a beautiful thing. And most people can't spin both ways, okay? A lot of people have problems spinning. If you're on the left, spinning to the right, and if you're on the right, spinning to the left, usually you have to spin the same way because your body's so used to spinning. But the thing is, he's young, all right? And when you're young, you got good hips, you got good knees, you got good shoulders. You could go both ways.
Got it.
At some point at some point, my body was not allowing me to get on the left and going that and spin that way. All right, because if I had to spin, I would have to spin out, keep going the same way that I normally go.
Are you telling me you don't have those dance moves that Aiden had? You see him do that last sack, and he was like, "Do you see that?"
I would have threw out a hip. I would have threw out a knee.
You would have thrown out your stanky leg? Yeah, I get it.
Oh, my God. My leg would have been really stanky on the sideline getting whatever I need to get. But I'll tell you this. When you're young, you can do all of that.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. Talk to me about 5 years. See if he's still doing
Aiden,
the stanky
talk
leg.
to us in 5 years.
He ain't gonna be doing the stanky leg. He gonna cut that all the way down.
He's got a little something where I feel like he's got that the Brandon Graham moment in him in this playoffs.
Yeah.
Where he can change the game. He's got that, and I'm excited to see it.
I think he's the number 1 draft pick. You know, he's been drafted really high, and he has that in him. And you see, if you watch him, you see what he has is something that you can't measure is that hard. He plays very hard. I love him. Yeah,
he went to the Lions. The Jags took Trayvon Walker, and at first people were saying Aiden's the right move, but Trayvon really came along this year as his pick to Jacksonville. So it looks like everybody's happy when it comes to their defenses. Dwight Freeney, we love you. You got to come back and tell me how to fix the Eagles' defense because they can't get it together. We appreciate you, and we are hoping you keep that phone plugged in because that call for Canton's coming next month.
You know I will. Thank you for having me. Take care of yourself.
Thank you. We love the insights. He called Peyton Manning annoying. What else can you do here?